This is the 8th small group discussion with J. Krishnamurti in Gstaad, 1964.
What shall we? Where did we leave off yesterday?
Spoke about learning, sir.
No.
Huh?
Intelligence learning not from the center, operating not from the center.
See, there were two kinds of intelligence. The intelligence of accumulation of the known, which we all see can't get us any further however much we try to break through with that intelligence. And then there seems to be another kind of intelligence which comes when, for some reason or another, the other intelligence wakes up to look at itself. If I understand it rightly. The process of that specialized intelligence suddenly turning around to work and...
No, we have to be careful. Specialized.
Well, it is specialized intelligence insofar as it's a personal intelligence born from experience.
No.
I'm talking of the AA, the first type of intelligence, within the realm of the known. That somehow seems to have to, for some reason, to start looking at itself. And the action of looking at itself, if I understand it, gives rise to a different quality of intelligence altogether.
Yes, I think that's about rather roughly vague outlines of what you're saying.
It is vague. But it seems to me very important because there is antagonism in the world and antagonism also in oneself. And it becomes interesting to discover if there is any means of meeting the accumulated memory within oneself, of oneself, which is oneself. Whether that can be completely destroyed, this accumulated psychological memory at one sweep, and whether at the same time there can arise a sensitivity which watches the new accumulation and chucks it out as it comes out, is something which I'm rather vague about. But it's pretty clear that any action within the circle does nothing. Just adds to antagonism and memory.
I'd like to go again a little bit this morning, last morning, what we mean by learning. If one has not heard all that one has said about learning, what would we mean by learning? Obviously, adding to that which is already known. That's all we mean by learning. And from that additive process, all action takes place. Right, sir? All action takes place from that additive or dividing, subtracting. From that process, all action is. Now, what is wrong with that? Wrong in quotes. We said that becomes mechanical, though it begins to have a new quality at the beginning, at the very instant before it turns to mechanical habit. There is a new, we say, don't we, that all additive action is repetitive, mechanical, boring, and it leading to antagonism and all the rest of it. And we see that before it becomes additive, there is a flash of something which is not of memory. Again, this is a fact, isn't it? Psychological fact, isn't it, sir? or would you all discuss?
Would you like to go into that, sir? You mean when there's a challenge, sir?
No, just don't translate what and look at it, sir. I ask you some challenge, all right. I challenge you something. For an instant, there is a freshness.
Yes.
For a second.
Yes.
Then the old memory
Yes.
sweeps in.
Quite so.
Now it is. Right?
Yes.
And that's the whole process of our learning, action, learning, accumulation and action, which we characterize as the animal process. Right. What's that?
Could you say that there's this germ which is not the animal?
That's what I want to pick up there.
That's what we
But
want
I
to
mean,
pick up, yes.
and that, therefore, that is what is the opportunity, but also the source of confusion. I mean,
Yes, yes. I mean, every intelligent man, if he's at all awake to all this whole world process, this human process, the animalistic process, sees this. Right, sir?
Yes.
Sees the mechanical additive activities. And because he has not been able to break that down, he has escaped from it through church, through God, through ideas.
Yes.
Right, sir? Right. And the ideation becomes another additive process. Now I say to myself, one asks oneself, is there a way out of this? I have an intimation of it when there is a challenge and for an instant before I respond.
Yes.
There is a tiny, half a
Hair's breadth.
second interval. Therefore the whole wave comes and sweeps you. Now, can my mind learn, wait a minute, I'm just going to, can my mind learn about that fraction of a second? I don't know. I'm sorry to change the whole thing again. I like it. Huh? Can the mind learn that about that fraction of a second? If it can, then I'm out. You follow,
Yes,
sir?
exactly. Yes, sir.
First, let's be very clear that are we all following this, or am I just
No, that's quite
spinning in the air?
No. We follow. We follow.
I mean, let's be quite sure this is so. There is, at the moment of challenge, there is a response or hesitation or a state of unknowingness before the whole wave comes out. Is that a fact?
Yes.
No, wait, don't agree, sir. Think it out very carefully, because if that isn't a fact, all other things will go wrong.
Yes.
Yes, that is. I mean, I see.
It is.
Right? Right?
Yes.
Take great sorrow or an unexpected antagonistic thrust, or an insult, or any challenge, psychological challenge, even physical challenge. There is isn't there a sense of hesitation, hiatus,
Yes.
before the thing begins. Now, if the mind could learn about that instant interval, perhaps perhaps I may know one may know how to break the other, or rather not break the other, how not to allow that to sweep in, not the old wave which is mechanical to.
We say that the old wave takes time to sweep in, and there's something faster.
Yeah, that's right.
We
That's
can
right.
disconnect the
You said
chain.
it right, sir. The old wave is slower than the instant. I don't know what that is.
When you say instant, do you mean a short time or
immediate?
I mean no time. I mean, say it's difficult to. I mean, one sense of it as a short time or a.
So look, sir, it's very simple. I say something to you very hard, brutal. You follow? It is afterwards you're looking at it, and then you say it is time.
So even before the wave sweeps in, there's a little movement where you're hesitant.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. But I meant that there's a possibility of confusion because there seems to be an intermediate state where the wave is there a little bit and where you sense time, but it hasn't reached its full.
Yes, yes.
Where you seem to have the opportunity either to let the wave grow or not.
Yes, yes.
And the wave has already started then.
Look, sir, my son is dead. And there is the shock. Then the shock is the paralysis, and as I come out of that paralysis, the whole mechanism takes charge. Escape, explanation, and so on, so on, so on. Is it possible to explore or to learn, I won't use the word explore, is it possible for the mind to learn the nature or the quality and the significance of that second, I'm using the word non-dimensionally, is it possible to learn about that? And that may be the clue, you follow, sir? The clue, the key that will stop this wave from flowing all the time, overpowering the mind all the time. I wonder if I'm making myself clear.
Perfectly. Yes.
Of course, we don't know this if it is possible.
Yeah, that's what I want.
We'll
Yeah,
find out.
that's what whether it's possible at all. Because the wave is tremendously strong. And for various reasons, we know about the vitality, the depth, and the violence of the past, of that wave. Now let's put the question differently. Is it possible, sir, to stay that wave? Not volitionally, not because you want to reach something else. Is it possible for the mind to be aware, to be so awake so that the wave doesn't capture it? I don't know if I'm...
Yes.
Does this happen after the shock, or is it
No,
possible
forget the
all
shock.
the time?
Forget the shock.
Forget-
Forget the shock. I'm taking it differently. There is the challenge and the response. The response is the wave of the past.
The challenge is the fact, is it, or
The event.
the event? But I
The
mean,
event.
it's the fact, is it, that you apprehend the fact without the time, I was saying.
I leave time alone, sir, for the
Yeah,
moment.
but I meant in this moment.
Leave everything alone. I'm just saying this is actually happens, doesn't it? You challenge, there is a challenge, and there is an interval of a split second, then the whole wave of the past comes in. Now I say to myself, ask oneself, is there a way of being alert so as to not resist, so as to be ahead of the wave?
Waylay it.
Huh?
To waylay
Not
it.
waylay, to be ahead of it.
Krishnaji, in that instant, when thoughts are not there, there is no center.
Yes, the same thing. We are saying the same thing in different words.
Isn't that what happens when we have a feeling that we've seen something new or understood something?
Yes. When I look out of that window, see all that, before the old wave comes in and says that's beautiful, that's not beautiful, by Jove, that's this and that's that, how can I verbalize it, paint it, and all the rest of the bilge. Okay? Is there not modus operandi, I don't mean that, to be, literally what it means, to be ahead of that wave. Which means, doesn't it, sir, that the mind is aware of that wave, the depth of it, the quality of it, the meaning of it, you follow me? It's tremendously awake to that, and therefore ahead. I don't, huh? Knowing that's going to come.
It is going to come after.
Knowing the tremendous weight behind it, of man's existence and all the rest of it, and be ahead, move ahead. And the moving ahead is much swifter than the other. It's swifter, not much swifter. It's swifter than the other. Now, is that possible? Is that not only possible, is that it's only possible, isn't it, when the mind is very much aware, when the mind is aware of the weight of the past, knows all the movement of it, conscious and unconscious, all the rest of it. The very knowing of it gives that quality of being ahead of it, doesn't it? Huh? Right, sir?
Yes, it's the same as the animal reaction.
That's it. Knowing all the animalistic reactions. Being aware, which means really choicelessly. Not trying to alter it. Knowing it, like knowing the carpet. I can't alter those colors.
Well, that's what I meant, that these are the fact, aren't they?
Yes,
And
that's
the past is the fact.
The past is the fact.
That means the mind cannot alter it. If it does, then it brings up the whole mechanical process. Right?
But doesn't
Then
it
that is
alter
the way.
itself?
No, but something else takes place, doesn't it? Look, sir. Ah, that's very good. We say that every movement of the known, trying to alter the known, trying to change the facts of the known, trying to bring about a better, etc., is still within the field of the known. And when the mind knows this, is not real, knows it, realizes it, comprehends it, is aware of it, I don't know whatever word you like to use, then is it not ahead of that, of the known? Are we complicating the thing?
You mean to say that the known is always trying to alter itself fruitlessly?
It has a certain value, of
Yes,
course. Slums have to be cleared, after all, law, and all the rest of it.
But would you say that if the known is not altering itself, then there's no problem? I mean, is that it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know, one knows the known has to be changed at its level, at its own level.
Yes.
It can't not change in that activity.
No, after all, wars have to stop. The racial question in America has to stop.
It must change, but that's something else.
That's something else. Now, the mind knows all that. What I'm trying to find out is whether the known, being aware of the totality of the known, does that not give to the mind a quality of being a mind a step ahead of the known? And you follow sir, what I'm talking? Huh? Yes, I think that's very clear.
Yeah.
If I know the nature of the poisonous snake, I'm already ahead of it.
Whereas some action takes place spontaneously
Yes,
and without knowledge.
Yes. The movement of you follow. Now, is that can one pursue that movement? Can one learn? Can one flow with that? Can the mind flow with that movement? You follow. Right or not?
Well, it's a question.
Yes, a question. Yeah.
Are you saying that movement is the fact?
That movement is a fact.
Yes.
And the learning about that fact is freeing, is being ahead of the way.
Well, you say that when you are learning this fact, then the fact is different. It's changing in another way.
Yes, correct.
In an intelligent way, if you wish to.
Right. Is it somewhat clear or is it rather messy?
Not messy. Not clear, not messy.
you see, sir, that brings up a question whether I really can know myself.
Exactly.
Huh? Completely, not just totally. Not knowing in the sense of static knowing. Which will become mechanical. But can the mind know the workings of itself?
But will it catch up with itself? I mean,
Yes, that will catch up with it, yes. Can the mind, this mind, know the content of itself? If it doesn't, then we are back in, you follow? Then we are lost.
Yes. So the key is the knowing of itself.
Knowing myself.
And
knowing myself so completely.
Do we know ourselves? Do we know how that self has been put together?
Oh.
Do we know the I process? What is the I process? How it has been put together?
Oh, that's very simple. So
it is, but it is not very clear.
No.
Do we know that we are just the movement of want?
No, sir, not only. No. Go slowly. Don't put it into one word.
Well, sir, it is clear for the one who looks that it is out of asking for the more, out of sensation, that the I has been put together. The ich process, the I process. The I process, the me, is the result of my asking more. That is the result of sensation, contact and sensation. Don't look sad. We are trying, you see, to find out exactly and clearly what is this I and how it has been put together. And it has been put together, according to me, by want. So we are not with the fact, we are with what we desire further on. That's the more. Every minute I desire more. Everything I get is the more. And the less, again, is the more. So if I am not with the fact and I am living with the more, with tomorrow, with illusion. So if we can watch this building up of memory and desire.
Go ahead, sir, we're following.
If I can watch the building up of the I, which is the I process, if I can know that I'm put together minute from minute by desire, by want, not desire, by want. We live in what is called the pursuit of happiness. That's the leitmotif of our life. Pursuit of happiness. From moment to moment we want something else. We are never with the fact, we are with the desire that the fact has arisen in ourselves. So that process, the building up of the I, is the animalistic I. And if, as he says, perfectly true, if we can be totally aware of the building up of this I, then we shall be ahead.
Sir, no, quite right. You are, what you have said, what we have said for the last 40, 20, 30, but it doesn't matter. You are giving, you are explaining. But you see, sir, that is not the whole works. I know what you have said is absolutely true. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, that takes place all the time. We're not denying what you're saying. But we are talking about learning of this whole process as out of time. I wonder if no.
Could we say we are caught in this process because we don't see this this I altogether in this flesh? I mean, and we have fallen behind it, so we're not looking at the fact. I mean.
Mr. De Vida says we are not aware of the structure first.
Exactly.
And we are not aware of the whole intricacies and the complexities of the structure and the motive power behind the structure, the energy behind the structure. But I think it needs some other quality or some other insight which will not allow this thing to go on and on and on and on, studying.
Yes. Yes, it's perfectly clear. So, I mean, to follow the detail of this structure is a hopeless...
Oh my God!
It means being part of it.
No, don't reduce it so quickly. As you were ought to. So I don't know why we're making this so very difficult. I don't know if you have watched yourself. Sure you have. If you have, there is always the element of change, trying to do something about it.
Yes.
Now, is it possible to be aware of it, not do anything about it, first? Second, will not do anything about it, alter the structure of the whole thing, not just part.
Right.
And third, what is the factor that will change the whole thing when the mind realizes that it can't do anything about it? Right? I want to get at that factor, not all the rest of it.
Well, I mean, I wonder if the effort to do something about it isn't the source of the structure.
Yes, that's part of the structure. I realize that.
But would there be a structure if there were no effort?
And of course, that's a real key. Of course not.
I mean, it's the confusion of the intelligence which is causing the trouble. Do you think that's it?
No, I purposely we've left intelligence, cut it out of this morning. We've talked about it enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I can deny myself food. I have only half a meal a day. I can deny myself sex. I can deny myself comfort. You follow? Be rigidly discipline myself. I don't know who have done this for us. Well, if one man does it, I have done it. You follow what I mean? That's good enough. I don't have to go through the silly stuff. So, will that give a fresh mind? That's my point. You follow, sir? Let's put it completely differently. A mind that is fresh, innocent, young, alive. Obviously not. Obviously. So I don't have to go through all that process. So I say, what will give it? You follow, sir? That is not it. So what will give it? The ancients must have asked this question, therefore, grace of God. Right, sir? And therefore, let me sit in a bed, quiet, meditate, be receptive. I don't think that works either. Right?
The quite the same thing.
Say, so, now let's come to it. Let's come to it. Put our teeth into it. Then what will? If this whole process of discipline, let's call that, will not, and if this other process of waiting for the grace of God will not, right, then what will? Which is, what will make the mind non-mechanistic? Right? Right. What will make it? Not the outside agency as God, or the mechanistic agency of discipline. Right? So what will? Now, sir, how have I said that will not and this will not? What has made me say that? Wait, sir, don't answer. What has made this mind say disciplinary method is not, and the grace of God is not? What has made me say that? Those two paths are not it. What has made me say that? Or what has made you say that?
Let's see it in a flash.
Huh? Huh?
Intelligence.
What do you say? Must I know all the intimate details of discipline, gone through it? You follow, sir? All of it. Every process of that must I know, must I have gone through, or without going through, I can look at it and say, no, that's not it. You follow, sir? Now what without going through that to say no. I want to, you understand, sir? Without taking it, without being drunk, to say no, I won't, no drink. And all the pains of drunkenness and all that. No drink. What has made me, what has given the mind that quality of perception without going through it?
I think it gives continuity. I see that it's giving continuity.
No.
We cannot recognize quality.
No, you haven't understood my question.
Yes, we have, but
then why
we are
answering?
trying, but we cannot recognize it.
No,
we cannot
we are going to
describe
answer
it.
it. No, that's not good enough. You follow, sir, what I mean? Which most so-called religious and all the rest of people is they, like St. Francis, like all the rest of that breed of saints, they go through and then deny and then fall into the trap, right? And one sees this whole process and the trap doesn't fall into it, right? And say that's not it. That's not the way out of this misery. What has?
I see.
Precisely the fact of not being in it.
No, you're not, sir, you're not really looking, experience, living the thing. Otherwise you wouldn't answer
It's
so
very,
quickly.
it's elusive. I mean, it's very elusive. It's something that happens.
Yes.
Like that, right?
What?
Isn't there a kind of energy which, if it goes into all that, it just adds to the confusion and the mechanical
Yes, but
thing?
but one doesn't go through all this. Say no, that's not it.
If that
Must I go through all the tortures to reach God? I say no. Sorry, that can't be. It's too stupid. And they push it out. The whole of it, not just one particular form of torture, but the whole of it. Now, what is the mind that says no to that? Never having tasted it, you follow? Never going through it, never fighting it, or says no, it's not possible.
Well, I don't quite. I mean, you see what it is, or
you don't even see it, sir.
I don't see it.
You
but
don't see all this, all the
I don't mean the
You don't
details,
see
but
the
I mean you
details,
see
but
the
you
main
see the-
thing of what it is, right?
and you brush it aside.
Yes, I mean you see right away that it's.
Yeah. What is that?
What is the seeing of what it is?
Yeah. What is that? What is the nature of it?
I don't know what word you would.
We're going to find out, sir. Don't verbalize it. Don't say it's intelligence, it is this, it is that. What is it? That knows without going through. That is, that knows without experiencing. Huh? You're getting, sir?
I don't know what word.
We don't block yourself. That knows without going through Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, say, out. That knows that as authority, let's move it down here, is completely wrong. Wrong in quotes. Under any guise. Not because it has achieved a position of authority and denies it, but from the very first step it says no. Same with riches, same with, you follow? Now what is, now I won't go into, now what is that? That knows the true, the falseness of it without experiencing it. Huh? Don't say, well, you have, it is past reincarnation, you follow?
No.
Then you are lost. That's the favorite trick of the...
Yes. But it's no past experience at all.
So I'm trying to block that.
And intuition is also a trick. It's I mean,
I see,
it's a
block all
same
that.
thing. Yes.
Block all that. So what is it that knows something to be false as false without going through it?
Yeah.
What's that? See the extraordinary beauty of it, sir. Huh? So wait, don't verbalize, but you know the nature of it then. Huh?
Yes.
Do you?
There's a feeling.
There's a feeling of it. Now can we go into that feeling? Can we learn about that feeling? Or the feeling is an illusion, you follow, and that you must go through all this.
No, I mean, you don't have to go through all that.
That's obvious. So it is not an illusion, a feeling.
No, because you have it all the time. I mean, it's whatever you're doing.
If you see what it is that tempts you to fall into the pitfall, and why those who fell into it.
There's not even temptation.
No, well, I mean, I put that word. If you see why, if you fell into the pitfall, why you do, and you see it's simply nothing.
No, you don't even know the pitfalls. You don't even know the nature of this whole discipline. You follow?
Yes.
And you say, no, sorry, it's out. It's false.
Even before then.
Even before. Not because you have seen other people fall in.
No, but you see the temptation in you, you feel.
And then, if it is a temptation, it's a resistance, then it is.
You're in the sleep.
You follow what I'm saying?
But I mean, may I take an instance?
How interesting.
May I take an instance? This idea of coming to God through suffering. Well, if I see that by wanting to suffer, I'm satisfying myself intellectually by all that people have said about the virtue of suffering, I think how stupid it is, then I say no.
But I don't have to listen to all the people. I see it immediately.
Yes, well, I see the reason for which I would, and I think how silly, why? I mean, it's...
You may have, I'm not saying you have not, but what is it that gives to the mind that quality of seeing the false as the false and saying, without
See, it's not just the reason, but there's something more.
Not reason, of course.
The reason is
not a persuasion.
The clarity.
Huh? No, you watch it, you will see it yourself. At least I think I see it, I may be mistaken, but you will see.
You seem to want me to catch myself in the process of seeing a contradiction. I mean, is that it?
No.
To see what its quality is.
And it's very interesting, sir. Look, sir. There's the physical demands, aren't there? I have to go through those. The mind has to go through those. And there are all the attractions of pleasure, psychological pleasure. There's not only the physical pleasure and its attractions, which I can more or less dominate or yield or have few, follow, leave that. But there are all the pleasures, psychological pleasures, in the false as well as in the true.
That is, the true has pleasures too, of course.
Yes, that's it.
Right.
Now, the mind says, doesn't say. It sees this in a flash and says no. Not because it has discipline, not because it has seen others suffer, not because if there is no reason. No explanation, no experience, no going through and then denying it. From the very beginning it says no.
Yeah, I mean, I see it, but I don't
Go
quite see
into
what
it,
we're driving at yet.
Huh?
I don't see quite
What we are driving at.
driving. I mean, I see what you say.
Now, therefore I say, by Jove, what is that mind? How has it come about? You follow this. It is uncontaminated. Right, sir?
Yes.
It is untouched by civilization.
Yes.
Unsophisticated.
Yes.
And the brain cells itself have not been conditioned.
You mean that it involves the brain in an unconditioned way?
Yeah, that's right. You?
All right.
How has that come? If we don't find that, we're just fooling around. Right? Now, how does that come about? That's not an illusion, that's not a fancy, that's not a...
No, I mean, it's a fact.
How does that come about? As though you're placed in a world with all its terrific influences, and there it is, untouched. Huh?
Yes. But has it come about? I mean, huh?
How does it come about?
But,
Or does it come about that way at all?
I wanted to ask, has it come about in any way?
If you've seen it, must have been.
That just, it hasn't come about. It hasn't been put together.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it just seems to be there.
Yes. And they say it's God. You follow?
But that's an idea.
Just a word, that's no meaning. Can we answer it? Or can we say that no experience is, that experience is not the liberating factor? And they use experience as liberating factor.
Aren't you also saying that experience cannot be the completely contaminating factor either?
No, it cannot contaminate. Yes. No, all experience contaminates.
But
no, wait, please, let me, if you don't mind, 2 minutes. Is it? What was I saying? That
no experience. It's not experience.
No.
Experience won't bring us to.
Is if
experience is
what
not
is the liberating factor? Let's put it that way. What is the factor that liberates one from all experience? I missed the thread I had. I thought I forgot it. What do you say
to that question? Well, I don't quite understand what you mean by a factor that would liberate.
So, look. Must the mind go through all this to deny the falseness of it?
As soon as the mind sees.
Now, what makes it see? Which means it must be free, right? It must be free.
Yes.
To see the falseness without entering into it. Right, sir? Now, how does that freedom come about? Or put anywhere you like, how does that freedom exist? Huh? What will you say? So if that freedom was not there, it couldn't do this.
It couldn't see the falsity.
Yes. Right? Or the truth of it.
Yes.
There must be freedom. Now, how does that freedom come into being? Or is that wrong question?
Well, I can't see how it comes into being.
Being in a sense, it is there.
It's there. I mean,
But why is it that freedom is in you operating, in me it's not? You follow? You say the whole of it immediately and says false. Organization, churches, gods, all that. You say no, that's all wrong. And I go on experimenting. And by the time I'm dead and you... So what? So how did this happen? How did this take place? Be, whatever it is, the verb,
the difference.
Whatever the verb is, how did that come about?
I think you're asking how one of us became conditioned. Is that it?
No.
Not quite that.
Not quite that. Has it anything to do with, sir, with we mature much too quickly? Physically, emotionally, you follow?
I mean, before we understand.
We mature so rapidly in this world now. Mm-hmm. We have girlfriends, but when we were boys, we were 15. God. You follow? The whole thing is so rapid. Is that one of the clues? You follow what I'm... That the slower maturity, physically, emotionally, you follow? Maturing.
Mm-hmm.
That may be one of the factors, I don't say it is, that gives the mind this peculiar aloofness. Right, sir? I'm asking, I'm not stating.
Well, so you say the child, the childish mind, is attracted toward certain things, right? And it takes maturing to...
Are you suggesting that in this, if there's too rapid development, a lot of very strong forces come into play, which prevent...
Which have problems,
yes.
Which create problems,
and, so the
and then caught in it, and then you're lost.
Yes.
Which doesn't mean that you're born with this extraordinary quality.
No. But it prevents something else from...
Yes. Not something else. Be careful. It prevents the mind being... prevents the mind from being innocent right through.
You mean by mature too rapidly, really it sets too rapidly?
Yes, it sets rapidly. Yes, that's right. Like muddy
gels.
Yeah.
And even now we respond too rapidly and set.
Yeah. Set too quickly, too rapidly.
So that we must have a more tentative approach.
But all this doesn't...
What?
All this doesn't give that energy, whatever we call it, says no.
Well, that really discusses what interferes with the energy.
Yes. So it must have happened to you to see something, in fragment maybe, to see a fragment and say that's not it. Right? You haven't experienced it, you haven't gone through it, and say no. Is it your past conditioning?
No, I mean, it's
Not
clear that
past
it's
life, 5 years ago.
No, it's clear that the ability to see the false is not that at all.
At all. Then what is that ability?
Well, as far as I see it, there's a certain feeling by which I know that it's false, right?
Yes, of course.
Is it somehow as if there's a point where one sees sort of point of desire and action?
I got it. Huh? I got it. Yes, I've been fooling around with it. Go on, sir.
Well, all I can say is that it's as if one can see a center of action, and one can see the effects of, well...
Manro, do look at it. Huh? In you, as you are,
yes,
is there a center? Is there a, not, sorry, is there a empty space? Not in the tummy.
Yes, yes, I understand.
You're going to have a meal presently, but is there a space which has not been touched? Don't invent it. It is the most, don't fool around with it, for God's sake. With society, time, gods, history, story, nothing has gone into it.
Do you think that this is in the brain? It has to do with the brain. Right?
Brain as well, yes, brain, and the whole of it.
The whole of the mind, but I mean it's also the brain.
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely.
But what is it that brings that into operation? What is it that...
No! Are you aware of it? Do you know what it means? You may not know it now, but as you grow, as you know all this, perhaps you will discover that, come upon it. And that may be the thing that says no to everybody. You understand that? That means, doesn't it, a sense of hesitancy before operating, before plunging in.
Yes, but of course it's common even that you shouldn't act immediately. People advise to allow time.
Yeah, that's simple. That's too silly.
That's too silly.
That's too silly.
But there is a sense of something empty. But as you say, it also seems something going on.
Yes, sir. Look at the skies. I was thinking this morning. Look at the sky. What we know, look at it. It's empty. There are lots of things going on, but it is empty. And in that emptiness, the hills, you and I exist. That is not contaminated. You follow, sir? Huh? That's all.
I mean, to see everything in this emptiness.
Not to see it.
To
not to see it. Not to see it.
Just
It
to be
is.
to-
It is. Not to see it.
Everything is in this emptiness.
No, no. Don't even say that.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever walked, driven, or whatever, without a single thought?
I don't know.
Huh? You observe everything, the trees, the color, but it is not, there is no thinking process at all. Which is not a loony state. You see what? That it is, the mind is not active, but only the brain is receiving impressions, not correlating it and putting it into memory. Just observing. Right. And if any thought comes in, the mind is already agitated. The brain is already active in the wrong sense of that word. You understand, sir?
Yes. All right.
So there is not a conscious putting an end to thought, but thought itself doesn't, the thought itself ceases at the border of this emptiness where time and experience doesn't enter. I don't know if I'm saying anything.
Well, you're saying this from the fact,
Yes.